What about now? Better? Or before? See, heck yeah. Thank you, brother. Could not have done it without you. That's what you call teamwork, making the dream work. Boosh! I appreciate that. All right. I guess kind of. I was going on for almost roughly 30 minutes on this one. So I guess now let's actually start to cut into it and try and get some information out to you guys. What I wanted to point out to kind of, I guess, double back before I had let in with a clip my autonomous society, and I'll actually play that for you guys later on, just so I can kind of get the ball rolling. What I wanted to point out real quick as far as news is Obama and the North Korea situation. The fact that we have North Korea pretty much ramping up military activity, ramping up the talks of nuclear devastation. This article I have before you guys, where Obama is to host the World Leaders Summit for Nuclear Security, and the actual term for it is the Nuclear Security Summit, and it has at least 56 different, dignitaries from other nations, such as British Prime Minister David Cameron, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, French President Francois Hollande, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi, and Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto. He'll also have Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and South Korean President Park, and I know I'm going to pronounce this one wrong, Park Geun-hye. I'm sure I did pronounce that wrong. But what I feel like this says to people, so to speak, is the fact that they are having more and more of these secret government meetings, these councils, these summits. And I don't know, maybe it's me, I didn't pay attention before, or I'm just now starting to be more aware of these things that are going on. But things like COP21, now the Nuclear Security Summit, and all kinds of other different meetings that they're having, I feel like shows you the fact that they're working more toward this new world order, that they're all working together in synergy. And how does this tie into the North Korea situation? Well, it's like, how many times have we heard about Kim Jong-un talking about how he's going to strike America? How many times he's going to incite violence or try to get things hot, so to speak. And the purpose for all that, if you ask me, is I feel like he's playing his role. Part of me is also thinking that I need to go back and watch the interview with James Franco and Seth Rogen to see if there were some things that we missed. Because the fact that we have Kim Jong-un over here literally changing his entire war strategy to be ready and capable of having a preemptive nuclear strike shows you that not only have they been doing their work, their homework, but they've been studying culture, they've been studying us, and they have no fear. Apparently our threats towards them and the UN's threats of slapping on sanctions onto them, they're having no threats. They're having no effect to them. And that's a problem because we have a world leader who's pretty much going rogue. I'm going to read from this actual article. Most recently, the North Korean government released a propaganda video over the weekend depicting a nuclear attack on Washington, D.C. The video is titled Last Chance. Earlier this month, North Korean officials, through the nation's state-run media outlets, threatened to use a hydrogen bomb on Manhattan. In February, North Korean state media identified all of the mainland U.S. as a nuclear target. Such threats have become more common following the January announcement that the North Korean military had successfully tested a hydrogen bomb, which was met with extreme skepticism by the world's nuclear scientists, given the small or the small size of the quake caused by the bomb in question. The whole idea that I'm trying to get across to you guys is the fact that since 2016 has started, North Korea has been on the aggressive. And some people are thinking it's because they don't have a World Bank. Some people are thinking it's because they're not following the UN. There's a number of things that we have to take into consideration when we're looking at this because of how vast this encompasses. Now, with this article right here, North Korea is saying that they would be able to release a hydrogen bomb in Manhattan. How many times, even with Obama saying, um, or alluding to the fact that a hydrogen bomb or nuclear bomb could go off on on the East Coast, you see how many times have we heard that theory being put out there. So that's really what I want us to start doing more, or at least, excuse me, or at least that's what I'm going to start doing more of, is start paying attention to this North Korean situation, because like there is a key here that we're not paying attention to. So I led in this actual episode with my clip where I was talking about the autonomous society and how that pretty much entails what that does for us. Uh, I was unaware that I was actually muted, so I'm going to play that again for you guys now and start answering some questions. So, with that being said, let's go. Right on. I know I definitely threw out a lot at you guys. I know I definitely threw out a lot at you guys. Salutations, guys. Sorry for all of the production issues you see happening in front of you. Still trying to figure it all out. It's salutations, guys. Shh, be quiet. Be quiet. Um, yeah. So with that video, I wanted to show you guys the fact that more and more we're moving towards this autonomous society where everything's taken care of us, everything's taken care of for us. Healthcare, robots, um, workplace, and military. There's all kinds of different applications as far as what this all entails for everybody. You see, and I'm not sure if you guys were able to read some of the slides that I had there, such as, do these robots actually create jobs? Because they're clearly taking jobs from people. What does this mean for society? Do we have to redefine what it means to work? What is work? What happens to all the humans who are out of jobs? And there's all kinds of different sociological as well as psychological, economic, financial, whatever you want to call it, philosophical implications of having this here, of having just robots involved in our society. And I know people are thinking, oh, that's never going to happen. That's not the way of the world. That's not how evolution works. And I'm here to tell you that it's already in play. It's already happening, and there are people that are talking about these types of things. This is where we're going. Earlier today, I had actually put out an article from the Drudge Report of virtual machine guns, robot security guards, and drones to protect your home. So it sounds pretty much sounds to me like you got a little bit of a fort, aka your home. You see, and that's how they're gonna market this. Is it's for your security, it's for your peace, it's for you. But when really we can see the eyes turning inward now. We can see the angered eye of caution facing inward now. Before, we used to take these kinds of inventions, these kinds of great innovations in society, and then, well, weaponize it, militarize it, and then put it out there for the world. Now we're actually turning it inward, and all these great things which we thought are fantastic, they're now being used to secure, patrol, and pacify us. I'll read from this article. For example, burglar alarms could shout at intruders by name, while what does that say? Indelible sprays could mark them out of in case of escape, and drones could give chase. The report by Future Trends experts Futurizon was commissioned by security company ADT. In a survey, the Florida-based firm found only 4 out of 10 people feel safe being at home, while 1 in 10 believes their home is at great risk today than it was only 5 years ago. However, the report, authored by the futurologist Dr. Ian Pearson, predicts a plethora of high-tech solutions will be available in as little as decades' time. So we're always hearing how we're getting closer to having this technology here. The number that I want people to pay attention to is 2030. They recently revamped the Agenda 21 guideline, or at least the Agenda 2021 book, to Agenda 2030, where they're updating everything. And we can see evidence of this all around the world, especially in Flint, especially in Michigan, with what's going on. And I have my own symbolic, metaphorical, metaphysical interpretation as to what you think, or as to the situation that is Flint. Whenever you have a lighter, you have to have a flint to light it. It has to catch onto the wick, which will keep it burning. The flint starts the fire. Now, what do you need to start a powder keg? What do you need to blow something up? You need a flint and you need a wick. If you can keep the flint going long enough, you can eventually set fire to what you need to. And I feel like that's the metaphorical, symbolic interpretation of what Flint is right now. Because the UN has already come to Michigan and declared it an international crisis. The contamination levels are extremely high. Kids are suffering irreversible damage because of the lead that's in the water, in the pipes, not including the fluoride. So this is where we're at right now. How does this tie into Agenda 2030? They purposely, because of post-industrialization, because of industrialization, they need to have a viable reason to come through and try to pretty much refresh, revolutionize, or rework things that are happening. This is the Green Revolution. And I want to tie this in, the Green Revolution, Sustainable Development, and Agenda 2030, and how this ties into robots and this technocracy that we're facing. I want to tie that in real quick to this idea that we're going to get $15 an hour for minimum wage. And I know I'm probably going to catch slack for this, but I really need people to understand that automation is a lot cheaper than having to raise the entire minimum wage for a country. And don't get me wrong, I definitely agree. People shouldn't have to live this way. We definitely should not have to, work 40 hours and still be in poverty. That doesn't make sense. But at the same time, what is that going to do for our entire economy? Everything's going to go up in price. That dollar menu that was $1 will now be $5. We need to understand inflation, economics, the markets, how all of this ties together, and what's going on. People don't understand how in depth they're trying to trap us, or at least the tools that they have to trap us. So to kind of, because I'll get back to point eventually, but to follow me still on this jag, and this is where I feel like This is where I feel like we're being played. The country, Obama was meant to drive the country into a third world status. We can see that now. Um, as much as you would like to believe that he was a hope for Black America or African Americans, he was and wasn't. He was a scapegoat. He was a Trojan horse. So he went in there and did what he did, right? So because of this, we now have a Muslim in the White House, someone who, and I'm not trying to talk nonsense about Muslims. This is the political correctness that we're now dealing with because I have to say that we have someone who you can tell does not have our own country as well as our own individuals, our history, whatever you want to call it. They don't have our interest at heart. This is a communist running wild. I mean, this guy's going to South by Southwest instead of Nancy Reagan's funeral, dancing, in Cuba whenever he's saying communism is fine, this, that, and the third. There's attacks going on in Brussels, and he has nothing to say. So this is what I'm trying to say. This is the president. This is the person that's leading us. This is why our threats are not having an effect on Kim Jong-un, because of where we're at. We have a president who does not bolster the Americana way. There's a reason why we're getting all upset, because deep down, we are all Americans and we want to have that strength. We want to have that pride in America. We want to have it back again. But because we know about the GMOs, because we know about the chemtrails, because we know about the LGBT agenda, because we know about all these different things that America is involved in, the people who are seeking the truth, who actually want to restore America or Americana to the world, to what's going on, we are now being chastised. And I heard this the other day because it literally blew my mind. And I'll get back to the news in 2 seconds, but just give me two more seconds. The fact that I get hysterical and passionate and care about this stuff, man, and care about my future, care about your future, care about your child's future. The fact that I do that and I'm considered strange shows you where we're at. People think it's cool not to care. People think it's cool not to get involved. And this is the problem. We have lost the power of I. Don't get me mistaken. I understand the power of we. But before you can even make a we, you have to understand the I in that. And we're losing this. We're losing that fight. We really need to get back to it. So whenever we're sitting over here asking people, hey, give me $15 an hour so I can do the bare minimum, is this what you would want to have your child do? Would you want your child to think that it is perfectly fine to just get by society and then get paid for just getting by? We need to really start looking at what's going on to our society and to our psychology and to our psyche. We are being attacked. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I understand $15 an hour. I would love to get paid $15 an hour. Please. That would knock out a lot of bills. And this is the paradox in free college. I've been talking about this for a minute now. Google and the internet has become the paradoxical free college. Okay. If I can go take three or four different courses or classes and then go on Google and pass said 3 or 4 classes, did I learn anything, or was I just, filling in the bubbles? If everything is free, then nothing has value. And that means your education as well. That's why we have a whole bunch of pseudo-intellectuals walking around, people that are talking about, that try to talk politics, but don't even understand, like, the TPP, quantitative easing, the Agenda 2030, global treaties. They don't even understand half of the executive orders that are going in. So, but it's okay because Trump's a racist, and this is where we're at right now. And I hate to put it that way, but this is where we're at right now. Sorry. Sorry. I get very passionate about this stuff, man, because it's all involved with one another. It all makes sense. It all coincides with one another. Check this out. top German journalist, admits mainstream media is completely fake. We all lie for the CIA. I could have told you that. I could have told you that. You're both right. Taking time to answer in the chat room. I am looking at your guys' messages. Um, it's just hard to talk and text at the same. It's hard to talk, text, read, right? But I'll make it happen. And I'll pronounce this as wrong, I'm sure. Ufkot, Dr. Ufkot, went on public television stating that he was forced to publish the works of intelligence agents under his own name, also adding that the non-compliance with these orders would result in him losing his job. And I'm going to actually read from the article. I've been a journalist for about 25 years, and I was educated to lie, to betray, and not to tell the truth to the public. But seeing now, within the last few months, how the Germans and American media tries to bring war to the people in Europe and to bring war to Russia, this is a point of no return. And I am going to stand up and say it is not right what I have done in the past to manipulate people, to make propaganda against Russia. And it is not right what my colleagues do and have done in the past because they are bribed to betray the people, not only in Germany, but all over Europe. And I thought this is very strange that this article would come out, and then at the same time, because I was on Facebook, always looking for information, and I was on this group, Worldwide False Flags. You guys can check it out, but be careful if you see this guy's profile picture. That's all I'll tell you. The fact that we have Dr. Ufkult coming out talking about these types of things, and then at the same time, the next day, we have somebody who's got stones the size of the moon. Okay, so check this out. I'm going to drop a bit of inside knowledge, inside New World Order Illuminati info for you all. You already know that we hide our operations in plain sight. But do you know why? Well, let me fill you in. When we drop hints and clues all over the place, it prompts truth seekers like myself to create websites and groups such as this one. In turn, we paid shills swarm the website /page/group and start debunking and spreading disinfo. This is what the government means when they talk about job creation. As many of you have rightly suspected, we get paid for our shilling. Where do you think that money comes from? It comes from your taxes, of course. By creating these platforms and then engaging us in your senseless wars, you are creating a demand for our services. The government then cleverly hides our operation in various bills and policies so that the spending is legitimized. It is quite genius in its simplicity, and best of all, there is nothing you can do about it. The balls on this guy. The balls on this guy. Like, can think about that. Really think about that. That man, think about that. There are people that are just like Infidel Kitty. You know, we have paid trolls. We have people whose jobs are to defy the truth. They have rightly signed a contract, knowing what they're doing, to purposely attack us, to purposely disinfo, to spread disinfo, to try to get us onto the wrong trail. And this is the problem, is because, and I'm getting this on the record so everyone knows right now. I have never been paid to do any of this. I'm actually trying to institute a monthly subscription fee where I'm still going to be doing all of this, but to where people fund this, to where this is a grassroots organization. It's funded and made for by the people. I don't get funding from NBC or BBC or any of these other places or from the government. Okay, this is all out of my own pocket. This is me really trying to get the word out there. This is me literally losing sleep, trying to iron out everything I can to try to get this out to you guys, to get the truth out there, to get the New World Order, the Illuminati, the Luciferian Illuminati, to get their plan out there so we can be properly equipped. And I'm not trying to preach to you. There are other people that can do that. What I'm trying to say is knowledge never hurt anyone. Okay? You never heard about you never hear about a nerd going off to go kill himself. And I'm not talking about Columbine. You know. So I'm trying to find this article real quick where it's the government admitting that they have actual trolls that they pay. And the reason why that's powerful is because it shows the fact that they have these stones. It shows the fact that these types of things are going on. CIA agents to troll alternative media sites in a huge propaganda program. That was March 23rd of 2016, and I'll read from the article with you guys. The CIA are expanding an existing program that influences mainstream media outlets to promote fake propaganda stories, such as the ones that Dr. Olkfett were talking about, by having agents troll internet forums, social media, and website comment sections in an effort to disrupt alternative news sites. In an expansion of Operation Mockingbird, the agency are now creating fake user accounts on various internet forums and social media channels, arguing politics with real users in an attempt to stifle and subvert genuine communication between users. According to RT News, agents have up to 10 fake shill accounts used to troll and create the illusion of having a genuine network of friends. They will defend current administration decisions with relentless irrational stubbornness that one can only be paid to do. Are you chatting with a CIA agent on the line? It's possible you already may have. And, well, I think, no, I know, because I've only been doing this a year, guys. We're about to come up on, I think it's next month is going to be a year for us over here doing this. And in my time, I have had quite a few run-ins with shills, with trolls, with provocateurs, with whatever you would want to name it, you know. And the fact that this is being stated means that it's only going to ramp up, which means I'm only going to receive that much more attacks. As I led in this video with Obama trying to lead the nuclear security summit. That post actually being taken down, more and more posts actually being taken down, and a number of other problems. Okay, so if anything, this is them admitting that they're going to step it up. They're going to step their game up, and that's cool because I'm going to step mine up. That's fine. Do your thing. I totally understand because I'm going to step mine up the same way I have been. And I won't stop because this is stuff that needs to get out there. I mean, check it out while we're down here. A few days after the Brussels attack, Mason Wells, 19, he was injured in the bombing at Brussels airport along with 2 other American Mormon missionaries who had gone to help check in on missionaries who were traveling to the U.S. What? Mason was also there at the Boston bombings as well as the Paris attacks. His name is Mason. Well. I don't think we need any more of a example for that, you see. So the point I'm trying to make with all this is look at how much of the society they have ingrained. They're literally coming down to Instagram and to Facebook and Twitter to try to stop the truth from getting out. They're literally paying people to go against the flow or to be of the flow, you see, their flow. And this is what's strange. This picture that you're seeing here in front of you, I put it up 4 days ago. I was talking to an insider friend of mine, someone who recently joined the military. I think it was either last year or the year before last. And I had asked him, only briefly, and now he's a listener, thank God. I had asked, and I'm sure he'll appreciate me showing this. I asked him what were his thoughts on Jade Helm, or if he had heard of Jade Helm 15 or UX 16. And this was his response. Absolutely. Jade Helm was an exercise held last year, and its purpose was to train us as to what we would do during a civil war if the states were broken up, as to which sides they would be on in the conflict. So left-wing states like California and Nevada, and right-wing states such as Texas and Arizona, those were the field problem, or as we call it, in the infantry. They were held to do the mass amount of instability the United States. Let me read this over. The field problem was held to do mass amount of instability in the United States. I've been told that once I get from Afghanistan, March of next year, that we won't even deploy anymore because war is coming here between the American people. I have a theory as to that. I talk it over with my brother Big a number of times because I see things kind of popping up, or I see things in a different light. And when they say war is coming, because we've been hearing this for a cool minute, we've been seeing, the predictive programming of war coming. We've been seeing them trying to hype us up. We've been seeing them literally trying to cause chaos in our streets. I mean, what was it last year with Ferguson in Missouri, where they had the police state pretty much roll out on protesters? Where's the police now? You see, where's the police for all of these protests? They're letting all this chaos go. Like, it's gone rampant. It has literally gone rampant. Check it out. Thousands pledge to get arrested in DC protests next month. I think you can find this article on Breitbart. Those protesters signed an option on the coalition's website explicitly stating, "I pledge to be one among thousands who will risk arrest to save democracy in DC, April 11th through April 16th." So let me throw something out at you guys real quick. So I just kind of went over the fact that we have CIA paid trolls, CIA paid shills that are doing these types of things, right? That are carrying on. And now we have people putting up websites saying, I pledge to get arrested. And here's what we got to start looking at, because these are all agencies working in synergy with one another, man. This is how they get the fools. This is how they get you. You get government paid shills to hype up commonplace people, people that are well-meaning and actually want to try to, have a respect for democracy and try to uphold democracy, even though we're a republic. You have government paid shills radicalize, let's use their term, radicalize these middle-class Americans to pledge to be one of among thousands who will risk arrest to save democracy. And then you send them to your cop buddies in law enforcement, and so you pretty much got paid to imprison someone. You got paid to set someone up. And so then we hear that George Soros is funding like these anti-Trump protests and Black Lives Matter riots, et cetera, et cetera. How does no one see how we're being gamed and used? So how does this tie into a coming civil war? I'm getting to that. Don't worry. I didn't forget this time. But there is a huge, not race war, but there's a huge, I guess you want to call it race war, ethnic tension, ethnic problems. We are feeling on the heels of an economic collapse, the actual tensions bubbling. And because of this, we're now seeing the effects. And this is where political correctness and our nobility, our respect, our American guilt, however you want to look at it, this is where it's going to get us killed, because we're inviting people that that actually want this, that are coming here to declare a jihad on us, and to do this type of stuff, to know that there's a clear issue, but yet still let these people come in. That is that's a level of ignorance that we're not really thinking about. It's like, what was it? A few days after the Brussels attack, Obama told the world to wield a peculiar weapon against ISIS. Here, I actually think I have that up, because the Pope said something strange like that as well. He said, "Come at them with weapons of love." And well, weapons of love. Well, that would make sense, because he's a Muslim. These are his people. He's trying to bring them in. I mean, we went over there prior to his candidacy, caused all kinds of chaos. Now that he's in, he wants to try to bring people over, the Muslim Brotherhood. And while we hear these people talk consistently about death to America, about starting a global jihad, and the sad truth of George Bush saying they hate our freedoms. I'm not saying they hate our freedoms. I'm saying they either strongly disagree with our way of life, or they do not think that we should live. Because whenever we bring these people over in droves, we're not really thinking about what's the proper word to use. We're not thinking about the after effects. You see, the ripple effects. Even if we did the math of it, what's 10% of 1,000? I think it's 100. What's 10% of 100? 10. What's 10% of 10? 1. So even if we do the math that way, we're still looking at a significant amount of people here who are radicalized, as they would say, that want to do us harm and would like to cause all kinds of chaos. So for Obama to say that we need to wield a weapon of love is outright mad. And this is our president. And I'm not talking noise. I'm simply looking at the facts, man. I'm looking at the facts. And I wanted to do this, and I will do this in an actual video that I'm working on right now. I call it the ISIS pestilence, because we need to look at the formula that is ISIS. The fact that these guys are able to go over someplace entirely different, cause all kinds of chaos, and come back. And then, surprise, surprise, there's actual police state being set up around it. We're not really thinking entirely about the ramifications of what's going on. So whenever the Belgians attack actually happened, I was talking to a friend of mine about Jade Helm 16, UX16. We were exchanging photos, and he had asked me if I had heard about the Belgian attacks. Prior to actually putting up the article that the Brussels airport had been attacked, I put up an article that the Tihange, their nuclear plant, it was actually under attack, or that it had been evacuated. And I thought, oh, well, that's strange. Some place is about to get bombed. It's about to get attacked. This isn't the article. Give me 1 second. Yes, right here. The Tihange nuclear power plant in Belgium is evacuated. It's been evacuated because, well, they received threats. They had received threats that they were actually going to be attacked. And I thought that was strange, because, well, why are you evacuating a place whenever someplace else is being attacked? Because they had known that their infrastructure was actually being monitored, and that the nuclear power plant was going to be the next attack. Like this article from World News, Brussels attacks bombers did actually plan to attack the nuclear power station, the Tihange nuclear power plant. The Brussels terrorists were preparing an attack on the nuclear power plant and had recorded 12 hours of reconnaissance footage. The ISIS cell were spying on Belgium's nuclear power chief, possibly as part of a kidnap plan to force him to let him into the atomic facility. Hours of film of the home of the research and development director of the Belgian nuclear program were discovered in an apartment in Brussels, raided by anti-terrorist police following the attack in Paris. So basically what I'm trying to get at is the fact that we're seeing how our society is being infiltrated. And you're wondering why or how? Well, whenever you have people that are coming in seeming like they're perfectly responsible or perfectly respectable refugees, and then they come in here and then they have ulterior motives, we can see this. Our society is infiltrated. And who do we have to thank for this, for wielding this on this peculiar weapon? You see, and this is the state of the world right now. Check it out. 2 Belgian nuclear power plant employees joined ISIS. 2 workers from the Tihange nuclear power plant fled the country to join ISIS 2 years ago. Belgian authorities say that they are fearful that the employees of the nuclear facility may have also joined ISIS, fueling rumors that ISIS may be about to launch a nuclear attack in the country. So even though I know ISIS is CIA operated, CIA funded, it's Al-Qaeda 2.0, I understand that they actually have people nowadays that are radicalized. That's what they do. They go out there, they stir some folks up that actually get radicalized and think, hey, this is the season. We need to start doing more suicide bombings. While they also have terrorist cells that are funded, organized, and paid for that go out and go do these things. So we're not only dealing with organized chaos, but we're literally dealing with chaos. And that's why I'm calling the video that I'm working on to explain this in greater detail, the ISIS pestilence. Because now that these guys are, and even though they're small, the fact that they're going out there or that they're being portrayed as an actual threat shows you what's going on, shows you the state of the world and how people are responding to this potential threat. And I'll tie it back into how this all plays into a civil war or some kind of war happening on our own streets. And I've said this again and again throughout my work, especially whenever you look at Paris, they're instituting all kinds of different martial laws, or a police state, as I would put it. I think I have the article here. Actually, let me go to this one real quick as another example of how our society could be infiltrated. Jaylin Young, a 20-year-old newlywed, set out to disguise her trip to Syria as her honeymoon, while her fiancé, Mohammed Dakala, who was 22, pleaded guilty to similar terrorist charges earlier this month. A Mississippi couple wanted to actually try to join the Islamic State militant group in Syria. Young and Dakala were arrested in August of 2014 before boarding a flight in Istanbul. So do you see how these people, prior to these people that were in our society perfectly fine, are running off to go join something else, to go do that, to cause chaos here in America? And we're thinking that it's never going to happen, that it's not going to, that we're somehow, well, I don't know, immune to the chaos, immune to what's going to happen. These people are wishing us harm, and if we don't figure out a proper way to deal with them, well, then we're just going to be subject to more of these jihadi attacks. Check it out again. Exclusive. Top jihadist claims that Islamic State agents have been working in Western airports. So more evidence that we are infiltrated, more evidence that while we're talking about gun control, Donald Trump being a racist, Hillary Clinton having ties to Wall Street, we're completely ignoring the fact that the war is here. The war is on our borders. The war is being brought to our home. Check this out. Nope, that's not what I'm trying to talk about. A South Carolina bill would hold faith groups liable for refugees that settle here, including their crimes. The South Carolina Senate on Thursday passed a controversial bill targeting refugees in the state, prompting concern that it may portend a wave of anti-refugee legislation around the country, particularly in the tense climate following the terrorist attacks in Brussels. The bill, if passed by South Carolina House and signed into law by Governor Nikki Haley would require refugee sponsors to register them in a database maintained by the State Department of Social Services. It would also impose strict liability on a refugee sponsor if the refugee, at some point in the future, commits a terrorist or criminal act. I fear this may be the start of similar nationwide legislation, said Jenny Yang, Vice President of Advocacy and Policy at World Relief, an evangelical humanitarian nonprofit group that helps settle refugees who have been vetted and approved under a federal program run by the State Department. So basically what they're trying to tell you is that these people are still going to come in. I didn't put up the actual article or the graphic, but these people are going to come in. They're already being shipped here, or at least brought into the country. Whether we like it or not, these things are going to continue to happen. They're right here. Top 10 counties with the most net migration. Chattahoochee County, Georgia, Miami-Dade County, Florida. There's 2 million since 2014. Hudson County, New Jersey, 669,000. Alexandria City, Virginia, 151,000. Bronx County, New York, 1,400,441. Good God, there's just, my God. And then in Queens, New York, there's almost 2 million. And the percent change is 1.3%. So it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but you got to think about how science works. It's going to grow exponentially. So there's a number of things that we really have to start looking at, guys, whenever we're taking a look at this whole ISIS infiltration of our society. And I definitely did not mean to go down that route with this video, but that's where we're at. And that's why we really need to start, not being ignorant about it, not buying into political correctness, but really understanding what's going on in the world. There's just so much. I'm always working on more and more stuff. I'm actually putting together part 4 of my Building the Matrix series. If you guys haven't checked that out, please do. Episode or parts 1 through 3 are on my YouTube. They pretty much go over the fact that we have an autonomous society, the technocracy, and how we're essentially building our own matrix. It's crazy. I definitely try to cover a lot in there. But because of the mess ups that I had at the start of this broadcast, I'm actually going to cut this one short. I wanted to get this out there. I hadn't done a live episode in a minute, and I wanted to kind of talk to you guys, or at least get everybody caught up, let you know that the work is still getting out there, and that we are still pushing forward, regardless of the trolls, regardless of the adversity, regardless of whatever's going on. If you guys haven't, please check out my website, freedomfaction.gemdo.com. It will be in the description bar below all this. I recently uploaded every single podcast episode I had onto the Mixcloud platform. So now you guys can go back and check our back catalog of episodes. You can also download every episode of Crisis Corner that we have available on our website. If you guys haven't, please check out our Facebook and YouTube, because I'm always putting out content, guys. I really am. Like I said, this is a full-time thing for me. I don't sleep. And I would like to say in closing, and this is the last thing before I'm going to wrap it up, this content provided on the website is one of a kind. Everything is made to be shared for the people. So feel free to explore and join us down this rabbit hole. I've also instituted this thing called exclusive content. A portion of people contribute roughly $3 to $4 a month to continue this operation and to help with expansion. And as a solo operation and a solo operator, any donations or contributions are greatly appreciated, but go towards making the website more streamlined, getting you guys better content, and even possibly getting it on the iTunes. That way we can have it be able to reach an even larger basis. But as always, guys, I'm trying to iron out mistakes and trying to get you guys better content faster and more refined. But that's all I really got for you guys on this episode. Thank you for dealing with my mishaps. With that being said, this is a Noise Air Freedom Faction out.